Hi, good day to y'all, and welcome to my video today, where I'm just going through the latest C3S seasonal forecasts. These come out on the 12th day of every month. So let's get right down to it and see what the latest forecast has in store for, well, Nova Scotia. First one I'm going to start with is January 2025, which you can see over here in the title. And this is a multi-ensemble, multi-model ensemble made up of the European model, the UK model, Météo France. I don't know what this one is. Deutsche Wetterdienst, NOAA, JMA, and Environment Climate Change Canada. So it's basically a big collection of different forecasts, which together should be more accurate than any one of these models by themselves. All right, so first thing we'll look at is the temperature in January, and as you can see, we've got pretty widespread above normal temperatures across pretty much all of North America east of the Rockies. In fact, the only cooler than average spot looks to be over here in northwestern BC, kind of over this area here, but Nova Scotia and the Maritimes over here looks to be warmer than average, which isn't really that surprising given that is what we've been seeing in recent winters. So it's pretty well in line with that. We move. Let me just get my cursor back here, and let's move this over to February. And as you can see, we've still got the warmth hanging on over here in most of eastern Canada, but we've also now got this big cool pool over here over Alaska and parts of BC and Alberta. So I'm going to keep these highlighted, and let's see what happens when I move ahead to March over here like this. Well, the cool pool is still there in Western Canada, and the warmth has diminished slightly in Eastern Canada, but which isn't surprising given that the ensemble spread is going to be larger at this time range than at 2 months. 3 months is bigger spread than 2 months in general. That's just how ensembles work. And the locus of the warmth has shifted towards Texas and Mexico. But still, March does not look to be below average in terms of temperatures. And just for fun, we'll look ahead to April. And yeah, well, April again looks to be a little warmer than average, so maybe we get an early spring this year in Atlantic Canada. Who knows? I'm not sure, but I guess we'll find out in 12, 16 weeks or so. We'll find out. Well, the next variable we'll look at is over here. The multi-system MSLP, this stands for mean sea level pressure, in case you're not familiar. And this is basically telling us where there's going to be highs and lows for the most part. If we see an area like this, that means that there's going to be anomalous high pressure in this part of the world. And if we see this blue, it means we're going to have anomalous low pressure over here. So, what does all this mean for January 2025? As you can see, we've got a big strong high just south of Alaska. And if you know anything about meteorology, air tends to circulate clockwise around highs. So that should lead to flow in this direction towards Western Canada. And since that's coming from the Arctic, that should lead to cooler than average temperatures there. Meanwhile, we see over here, we've got a bit of a stronger than usual Azores Bermuda high, and we've got some frothiness over Nunavut. So, given this interaction, we should have flow in this direction towards eastern Canada. Is that what we're seeing on the temperature outlook? seems fairly reasonable because the coolest weather relative to average is located right over west northwestern BC, and the warmest weather is over eastern North America. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Well, let's move the model ahead another month, like so, and well, the pattern really hasn't changed very much, except that we've moved the low a tiny bit over here, and we've cranked up the strength of the high a little more. But because we now also have a stronger low over northwestern Canada, over the Northwest Territories, we should get a, come on, mouse, draw better, please. Thank you. We should get a Siberian Express heading in towards central Canada and the Great Plains of the US. And what do we see when we look at the temperature outlook over here for February? Look at that. It's almost as if things make sense in meteorology sometimes, right? Warmer than average across eastern Canada, cooler than average across the west. And yes, in case you're wondering, you get the flow around the low is in this direction up here. And the high and the low reinforce each other, driving cold air from Siberia towards western Canada and milder air from the Gulf of Mexico towards eastern Canada and eastern North America in general. So let's move the model ahead one more month towards March. Nothing has really changed here. So we still have the same pattern with the strong high just off south of Alaska, the low pressure over the Nunavut and Northwest Territories, and the Azores Bermuda high unusually far west relative to average. The pattern starts to break down a bit in April, but that would be expected just given the spread of the ensembles, though given that this blocking high remains off of Alaska, it's not surprising that spring is probably not going to come exceptionally early towards BC this year, if this forecast holds. So the last one I'll take a quick look at is precipitation. Let me just remove all my arrows. And in January here we have really wet weather, or wetter than average, probably snowy actually given the temperatures here that we're likely to experience over Hudson's Bay, like right over here, and across most of western Canada. And if we combine this area above, oh, come on mouse, please work. If we combine this area here with this area here of above average precipitation with our temperatures for January, I'm not indexed properly. I'm not in the exact same spot. Let me fix that. There we go. That's better. So if we combine this where it's not, and this area is the least warm relative to average compared to, and we have the most precipitation relative to average, increased precipitation relative to average in western Canada, I would say that if you're in the Rocky Mountains, you'll get a nice healthy snowpack this year. On the other hand, across eastern Canada over here, yeah, there's the signal for more rain over Ontario and Hudson's Bay area. Rain or snow, depending on the exact temperature. But over here, the signal's pretty weak either way. Now, if we look at February, the pattern is kind of similar, with most of Canada seeing above average precipitation. Now, intuitively you might think that, oh, this is a great look for lots of snow from coast to coast. Well, there's one minor problem with this. If you live in Western Canada, that's probably true because you've got lots of cold air to work with. So again, strong ski season for the Rocky Mountains looks like a solid forecast, at least from this round of the models. On the other hand, Eastern Canada, including Atlantic Canada, looks pretty mild compared to average. Now, that being said, February is the climatological peak of nor'easter season, so even if the month as an average is 1 to 2 degrees above normal, sorry about that, there may yet be enough cold air lurking to get a few heavy, wet snowfalls. So this can't be ruled out at this time of year, just because of climatology. Moving ahead to March over here, the heaviest precipitation shifts over here to the west. And temperatures in the east remain above average, as you can see over here. Let me just pop back like so. And again, spring is going to be very sluggish to come to Western Canada, I would expect, but whatever snow does fall, which in my opinion is probably going to be mostly in February in Eastern Canada, is not going to stick around unusually long, according to this run of the models. And in April, we're too far out to say anything with certainty, so I'm going to take anything I see here with a grain of salt. So, to summarize, if you live in Canada, west of the really west of Manitoba, westward, like this area over here, I would put a big check mark on if you're a snow lover. You're going to get lots of snow and lots of cold air, and it should stick around until well into March. So you'll get lots of opportunities for skiing, snowboarding, snowshoeing, snowmobiling, and all kinds of winter sports that of your choice. Let me just move over to precipitated temperature here, just to the heart of winter in February, just to illustrate my point a little better. On the other hand, if you live over here in Canada, east of the, really from the Great Lakes Basin eastward, like so, I would say that while winter will not necessarily be a... Mouse, you stop being goofy. Alright, if you live in this part of Canada over here, while I would say that given this is Canada and it is winter, I wouldn't write the season off entirely, but winter is A, not likely to be unusually cold, B, not likely to be exceptionally snowy, given the normal temperatures in many parts of this region are just barely below freezing, even during January and February. And C, it's probably not going to last well into March and early April either. So, for snow lovers, this is not going to be the winter for you in Eastern Canada, I don't think. For those of you who don't like winter and like a low snow winter, that is because you're doing a lot of commuting, or you just dislike shoveling, then you're probably going to be very happy about this news. So anyway, that's about all I have for now. I hope you enjoyed this, since this is kind of my first time doing a video like this. So yeah, take care, and I guess I might try another one of these when the next C3S forecast comes out, if this one's well received. And I might, maybe I'll even start doing these into the start of the hurricane season, so that we can talk about where storms will go in the tropics. That's all for now, and And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time. Bye bye.